Today what I'd love to talk about is this idea of I'm not a leader, and just how I see that we're all leaders. So, over the last few years I've been working with Chris Brach and also Martin Howarth around this idea of compassionate leadership. We ran our first cohort in January 2026, and we're going to be closing registration for our September cohort in the end of this week. And as we've reached out to people, as we've spoken to people, often people will come back to us and say, I'm not a leader. I'm not in a position of leadership, or I'm not a leader. And what I wanted to share a bit today is that actually we're all leaders. And I want to draw upon a few different books, and in particular there's this book here, Mike Manazir's Learn How to Lead to Win. He's a retired US Navy admiral, and also some other books. So enjoy. So I'll begin with Mike Manazir's, and he worked, I can't remember for how many years, but many years as an admiral certainly in the Navy, and then went on, finished being an admiral. And he starts his book here in the basically introduction: you are a leader. You may not see yourself as a leader, but if you are a parent with a child needing to be equipped to succeed in this dynamic world, you are a leader. If co-workers are coming to you for advice and direction on how to do things at work, you are a leader. You may not have the title, but you are a leader. If you are entrusted by the education of students, you are a leader. If you have one employee relying on your lead, you are a leader. If you are a grandparent and you have grandchildren observing your every move, you are a leader. If you are a counselor helping a struggling person break an addiction, you are a leader. If you aspire to make a meaningful impact on the world, you are a leader. And I think this is really great to see that we get this definition. I'll go into this in a little bit. We get a definition, certainly in Britain, is you have to have a title to be a leader, or you have to be a certain type of person to be a leader. And what Mike Manazir is saying here is, no, that's not true. So what is leadership? So he goes on to say, John Quincy Adams, the 6th President of the United States, said, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. Leadership, therefore, is using your influence in the lives of the people you touch to inspire them to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more. So I see that, we're all leaders. We all have that capacity to lead. What I've often seen is people say, well, I'm not a leader. What they're meaning is I'm not a command and control leader. And that is what often in Britain, certainly in America, it's changing. But that's the type of leader that we've seen. It's like, you do as I say, you will follow orders. When it messes up, it's your fault. It's nothing to do with me. And it's not really where we're wanting to get to, which is the servant leadership or the emotionally intelligent leadership. And I'm going to just kind of guide you through that. So often, it's right. You're not a command and control leader. And I'll share a story. When I took over as the scout leader for the Explorers, which was the 15 to 18-year-olds, the man in front of me was a leader. He had done it for 10 years, and he was, very confident, very alpha. People listened to him. And I wasn't that type. So when I was asked to step up, I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm not really a leader. And I can't do it in his way. I can't stand there and be really confident. And what I found is I just led in my way. And my way was to build relationships. It was to get them to lead, to step up. And as I've read the leadership literature, I realized that, yeah, I began as a positional leader, which is level 1, and gradually I developed relationships with people. And at the end, when I stepped down, some of the leaders that I had worked with, they ended up going on to run. They're in their 20s, they're running the Explorers now. And you can hear there's a blackbird doing the alarm call. There is an owl about 5 meters that way. I've just seen it. It's kind of resting in the trees, and the blackbird's not very happy. And so it's this idea that we need to be a command and control leader in order to be a leader. No, that's not true at all. We can be ourselves. We can bring our essence. And I'll carry on just speaking a little bit from what Mike Manazir says. He says, human-centric leadership is essential to making the world better. By the way, this works equally well whether you are leading up to your superiors, across to your peers, or down to your subordinates. More importantly, if you genuinely value each human being you touch, regardless of their status, you will enrich the lives of others and yourself. So at the moment, I see the world really needs human-centric leaders, needs these servant leaders. Okay, whether it's in your community, whether it's in your family, whether it's in your life, for people to step into leadership, leading it. And what does that look like? It's like having direction, having vision. Where am I going? And then empowering others. What I often see in this command and control leadership is that people are creating followers. I have the power, and I will, command you to do these things. And when that leader steps down, the followers have no idea what to do because they've never been empowered. What we want to be doing is creating other leaders. We want to be really, and John C. Maxwell in the 5 levels of leadership. Level 1 is the positional leadership, really the command and control. You have a title, you do as I say. Then second level is permissional or relational leadership. We start to create leaders, we create relationships with the people we work with. Third one then is to do with is productivity. How productive am I making the company or the place that I'm working at? Am I bringing it to order? Am I making it profitable? Next one is you create other leaders, level 4. And then the final one is you create level 4 leaders. But most people they arrive here, they're creating other leaders, not followers. And I think that for all of us, I think he talks about this idea of relational leaders, is that we don't need a title. We can be a leader now. It's like if you're in the NHS, if you're in the your company, or you can lead up. You can inspire the team around you. You can write, let's do these different things. Let's be more, create this circle of safety. And that's what Simon Sinek talks about in here. Talks about this idea that we need to create this circle of safety, psychological safety, that Amy Edmondson talks about in her research. When people feel safe, productivity goes up. Creativity goes up, innovation goes up. So really it's the future. And that's the idea, is really what can we do to start to embody that leadership. So I'll see what other notes I made about this. So this Thursday we are doing which is tomorrow, is another workshop around triggers, so the people that trigger us. And then Friday and Saturday are the closing days for our Compassionate Leaders Pathway program. We still have a few places left, so people are interested, please do message me, and you can find the details of the website below. And yeah, we do have bursaries as well. What else have I said here? Yeah, I think really the final piece is really leadership. We're there to serve. How do I serve? What's needed here? I see that a lot of leadership, certainly in Britain, over the last few hundred years, is it's been serving the leaders. It's like, what can we extract? What wealth or power can I get for being in a position of leadership, rather than seeing what do the people need and then fulfilling that, going, oh, okay, they need better housing. They need a better NHS, whatever it is. It's like, and you could see that, I think it was Attlee's government, Labour, setting up the NHS. It's like doing these things for the people. And so that's what I see that we need to move back to, is this servant leadership. Yeah, I think that's really it. So just, if you feel like you're not a leader, you are a leader. And we can develop those skills. So I'm always learning about leadership. As I said before, when I took over Scouts, I didn't see myself as a leader. I don't really see myself as the archetypal leader now. I do it in my way. And we can develop these things. And I'll finish finally on Gareth Southgate's book, Lessons in Leadership. And he's talking a bit about the army. And he just says here, what I continue to find fascinating about the leadership competencies framework is the emphasis the army puts on emotional intelligence and creating psychological safety as vital skills for any leader. I did not expect to see these terms used in the context of a military environment where life and death is the field of play. This has made me realize that there are more courageous and harder-edged traits to develop and deploy than many people give them credit for. And these are traits I feel fortunate to have had in my locker as a leader. So this is the future, guys. It's emotional intelligence. It is psychological safety. It's these things. Whether people are doing it or not yet, I don't see that necessarily so much in the UK. In the US, I'm seeing it more in business. But we can do it. We can start to implement that. And that's my vision. We can change the face of the world by changing the face of leadership. And certainly that is the vision. So if you have any comments, it'd be great to see you on Thursday. And if you have any reflections like, whether this resonates. I've never seen myself as a leader, and actually maybe I am a leader, and I would suggest that we are all leaders. So blessings. Thank you. And final bit is I've got a podcast going live on Friday with Dr. Judith Wright talking about relationships, and then I've got another one talking about, it's with Nima Ramani talking about attachment theory. That's going to be next week. So any questions, please do let me know. Okay.